Is this why they call me Slim Shady?
Sacha Baron Cohen doesn't just make people laugh. He makes people expose themselves on camera. And that's what makes him different from almost every other comedian. Borat, Ali G, and Bruno all look completely ridiculous on the surface. But the longer you watch, the more you realize something important. Sacha is always the smartest person in the room. He walks into interviews with absurd questions, awkward energy, and total chaos, and within minutes, celebrities, politicians, and public figures start dropping the polished version of themselves. That's when his comedy becomes more than entertainment. It becomes exposure.
Yeah.
That's high praise, I
They
think.
know that I'm here tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're thrilled about that. Let's talk about you. You do a lot of characters on the show, and you did a character recently that almost got you killed. It almost started a riot and got you hurt. Is that right? This is the Daytona Spring Break.
There's actually there's been a couple of near riot situations.
Right.
One was Borat. We had a riot with that recently, but with Daytona.
Which character were at Daytona?
Daytona, I was playing Bruno, who's this kind of gay Austrian, uber fashionable.
Right, I know the character.
presenter.
Yeah. He's you went as this character, and you were asking people to do what?
I met a bunch of wrestlers who were kind of on spring break, and I'm incredibly gay as it. I'm incredibly flamboyant and fabulous.
Right.
And I'm wrestling with them, and we're wrestling, and my head's in their crotch and all that kind of thing. And then at one point, I got these guys to kind of do a whole load of push-ups. I was saying, "Okay, let me see your muscles," and they start going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And then I go, "Okay, can we see the Asha?" And so they
The Asha?
yeah, so they dropped their trousers and showed me their buttocks.
Yeah.
And then I go, "Is it possible to see a little bit of the front?" And they're going, "No way, man, no way." And I go, "Come on, just a little bit of the Fleischwaffe." And this guy's going, "No." And all the time he's got his hand down his underpants, just giving himself a little bit of lip, just in case.
Most comedians rely on punchlines. Sacha Baron Cohen relies on real reactions. That's what makes his humor feel so different. When Ali G asks an unbelievably dumb question with a completely serious face, the funny part isn't just the question itself. It's watching the other person desperately try to stay calm and professional while the conversation slowly falls apart. And the harder they try to keep control, the funnier it becomes. Because at some point, people stop performing. They stop sounding media-trained. They stop acting polished. And for a few seconds, you see who they really are. That authenticity is what gives his comedy so much power. A lot of comedy is designed to make people comfortable. Sacha does the opposite. His comedy creates tension. You laugh, but at the same time, you can feel the room getting uncomfortable. And somehow, that discomfort makes the scene even more entertaining. That's the genius of awkward comedy. He pushes conversation so far that people no longer know how to react. Should they laugh? Stay polite? End the interview? Pretend everything is normal? And that's where his comedy becomes fascinating. Because under pressure, people reveal themselves very quickly. Some get defensive. Some panic. Some laugh nervously. And some completely lose control. The audience can feel all of it happening in real time.
Kindly smuggled the beard in her underwear.
Is that true?
That is actually true.
That's a true story.
That's true, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, that is a real one.
Okay, so she has the beard.
She has the beard, just in case anyone checks down there. There's an excuse to have a bit of bush there.
Yeah.
And I've got the cap, the Ali G cap, and we put the glasses in another bag, blah, blah, blah. And then essentially 30 minutes before I had to go on, we went into this bathroom right on the side of the stage, and she put the beard on me because
she went into the bathroom with you, and she did your makeup for Ali G secretly.
Yes, exactly.
So then when you walk out at that moment, the producers, the director, everybody, they just, oh God, he did it to us.
Yes, well, the good thing is Hollywood is one of the places where you can disappear into a toilet for half an hour without anyone questioning. They thought there could be 2 or 3 things that me and my wife were doing. Neither of them involved going to the actual toilet.
Yeah, exactly. There's a story, I don't know if it's true, but you went to the Oscars dressed as the dictator, and you were carrying, I believe, the ashes of
the late Kim Jong-il.
Yes. And they didn't want you actually... You spilled the ashes all over Ryan's secret.
Yes, accidents happen.
You're such an asshole.
Borat and Ali G may look clueless, but the strategy behind those characters is incredibly smart. Sacha understands that people become guarded when they feel challenged directly. But if someone appears harmless or ridiculous, people lower their defenses. That's the trap. By pretending to be uninformed, awkward, or socially unaware, he gets people to say things they normally never would. And that's why his comedy works on such a deep level. He uses fake foolishness to expose real foolishness. Sometimes the strangest person in the room isn't Borat. It's the person reacting to Borat. What makes Sacha Baron Cohen stand out is that his humor usually has a bigger target. He's not just chasing laughs. He's exposing ego, power, celebrity culture, prejudice, and public image. That's why many of his scenes feel less like comedy sketches and more like social experiments. The uncomfortable part is that sometimes the reactions become more shocking than the joke itself. And that's what gives his work lasting value. It's funny in the moment, but it also says something about how people behave when they feel awkward, pressured, or exposed. His comedy works because it reveals how fragile public personas really are.
Were voting and telling people
I know, I
to vote.
saw people on Instagram doing it. I thought, I've got to be in.
Yeah.
I want to be one of the people that voted.
Well, you did. You voted for a lot of the people who didn't vote. Now, this show, and you know this because I would email you after each show because I love it so much. Who is America? It was on Showtime. For those who did not see this show, Sacha, and forgive me for explaining your own show to them, would do a series of characters, rotating characters, and trick politicians, famous people, not famous people, infamous people, into doing the craziest, most unimaginable things.
Yes.
That it's still, like for instance, you got Dick Cheney, the former vice president of the United States, to sign a water board, like happily sign a torture device.
That's right. I was surprised.
Was that the goal going in to get him to sign that?
Yes. I mean, I did say, when I showed it to him, I go, this has been signed by Ariel Sharon and by Shimon Peres and also by Demi Lovato. She has a wonderful voice. And he goes, I've never signed a waterboard kit before. I go, what? You're joking. He goes, this is going to be very valuable.
Did you talk to him at all off camera? Was there any?
Well, about half an hour before he came in, I realized I was about to interview the ex-vice president, who'd started a couple of wars.
And
I
CIA.
Thought yes, and I thought he might be suspicious. So I realized I had no backstory to my character. I was playing this kind of Israeli army character, but I had a sidekick who was a kind of Israeli special ops guy, a real guy. So I said, you know what, he's coming in 20 minutes. Just tell me everything about your military experience from the time that you were a child onwards. He goes, okay. He goes, at the age of 8, I went to school. In my right hand, I had my lunchbox. In my left hand, I had my gas mask. And that's when I realized I had to join the Israeli army. cut to 20 minutes later, Dick Cheney walks in, and they say, all right, should we start filming? He goes, listen, before we film, I'd love to actually know a little bit about who's interviewing me. So he sat down with me in a corner. He goes, do you mind telling me about your military experience? I said, Mr. Cheney, at the age of 8, I went to school with the lunchbox under one hand and the gas mask under the other.
That is crazy. Congressman from Orange County, a guy named Dana Rohrabacher, who's really a nut.
Great guy.
Really great guy.
We won't say anything.
Sacha Baron Cohen understands tension better than almost anyone. Every scene feels like it's seconds away from completely falling apart. And viewers can feel that. People don't just watch for the jokes. They watch to see how far the situation will go. Will the celebrity walk away? Will someone lose patience? Will the interview completely collapse? That unpredictability creates incredible audience retention. You genuinely feel like anything could happen next. And that feeling keeps people locked into the video.
Well done. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Well, at some point I'll show you the 8-minute cut before the MPAA.
Because they didn't cut enough.
In my opinion, Sacha Baron Cohen is one of the rare comedians who uses humor as a mirror. His comedy can be uncomfortable. It can be chaotic. And sometimes it pushes people far outside their comfort zones. But that's exactly why it stands out. While most celebrities spend years protecting their image, Sacha creates situations where maintaining that image becomes almost impossible. And once the mask starts slipping, the audience sees something real. That's the true value of his comedy. Sacha Baron Cohen doesn't just make people laugh. He makes people reveal who they really are. And honestly, the funniest person in the room was rarely Borat. It was always the people reacting to him.